All right, everybody, welcome to the Let It Fly show. We are recording this live at Hale Varsity Club in La Vista. It's brought to you by Omaha Steaks. I am Michael Severe. This guy next to me over here, Josh Jones, former Creighton Bluejay. We are recording right after Nebraska beats Creighton by 10. Let me ask you this, Josh. What year were you born?
1989, brother.
The last time Nebraska won in Omaha during the regular season was 1995. You were a 6-year-old pup.
Wow.
The last time this happened.
Wow.
This is not how we expected
Not at all.
the first Let It Fly show to go.
Not at all.
No way in the world. You were there. Tell us what happened, man.
Well, Nebraska played their game and we were off ours. As simple as that. You know, to me, I feel like, it's great. Anytime you got a target on your back, you got to kind of take the wins with the losses. So Nebraska came to play and we weren't prepared for our game today. That's how I see it.
The show will be not just Creighton. We're going to talk Nebraska. We'll talk football. We'll talk basketball, local sports, recruiting, and everything. But with this show following right after Nebraska Creighton, we'll talk a lot of that, obviously. Arthur Kaluma will join us, a Creighton forward, tell us more about the game as well. But when you look at that, how much do you think it was Texas beating Creighton twice? Because, I mean, that was a game that I think, Creighton shot poorly against Texas.
Right.
They lost that game. I'm sure they thought they should have won that game.
Right.
Then you turn around and lose the next one. How much do you think it was a product of them losing to Texas twice?
I think that matters more for the simple fact that there's more. I mean, the in-state rivalry is always fun.
Yeah.
I mean, to do, but that's kind of like that's not the agenda. I mean, that's just somebody in the way of our ultimate goal. Losing to Texas twice for me matters so much more for the fact of those wins down the road prepare us as a team for what we're preparing for, but it also on our resume, like it's just like a stain on it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, and Nebraska may end up having a good season.
For sure.
Get their RPI where it's not as bad of a loss.
Right.
But the expectation was that this would be a blowout.
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen 3 or 4 times at halftime.
Right.
Oh, heck, forget that. We've seen 3 or 4 times at the first media timeout.
Right.
Creighton's up 10, 15 points against Nebraska. In this situation, you get to halftime. Nebraska's got a 3-point lead. Creighton turned the ball over 8 times in the first half, shooting poorly.
Yep.
Can you point to one thing about the way they're playing right now that's leading to the way they're shooting?
Yeah. Sometimes when you miss, it becomes psychological.
Sure.
Everybody going on shooting slumps. I'll use a personal example for myself. When I played for Mac, I want to say my sophomore year, I was 3 for 16 in the first 5 games, just from 3 in general. And psychologically, every time I was open for a 3, I just kept thinking about, wow, I missed like the last 5, last 6.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of one of those things where like you just get in your own head. And I think that's it's also more tough when the identity of Creighton is the 3-point shot, So like when our secret weapon and our greatest asset is a liability, you kind of live and die by it. So we're just in a shooting slump right now, man.
Yeah, and let's give some credit to Nebraska.
For sure.
He played really good defense, played very physical.
Definitely.
Sam Griesel was just
no
amazing.
doubt. Yeah.
Played so well. And I thought, like I wrote down before the game started, the key to the game was Kalkbrenner versus Derek Walker. Whoever got the best of that, I thought would win the game, or at least that would keep it close.
Exactly.
Derek Walker played amazing.
I mean, he played great. I mean,
like a grown man.
Yeah, I was watching him before the game, and his mentality the entire time was he was thinking about the ranking, the number. He was thinking about the rivalry, but he's also most importantly thinking about that personal matchup.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make a statement. I talked to Eric Strickland a little bit before the game, and he was like, "Watch this."
Yeah.
And we left it at that. And the results of it was the game. I mean, and yes, we did lose to Nebraska. It's like there's 2 sides of the coin. You can see it from one side. Oh, Creighton was off. You got to credit Nebraska, like you said. Nebraska played their game. I mean, for the season, if you think about it, they weren't that far off from their field goal average. Wasn't that far off from their free throw average.
Yeah.
And the all-world confidence just from the rivalry. I mean, that's just icing on the cake.
Points in the paint. 44 for Nebraska.
That was just lack of effort from Creighton. I mean, Nebraska is Nebraska, and they play hard, but I mean, I was there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like Nebraska has had that momentum. Shots weren't falling. We wasn't flowing within our, typical, not just our offense, but, what we want to play off of. And, I mean, we just I don't know. We didn't give up. We just didn't play to our full potential.
Yeah, Nebraska, as I mentioned, it's a long time since this has actually been a real rivalry.
Right.
Creighton won 10 of the last 11 of these, so it hasn't been that way. It's the biggest win under Fred Hoiberg.
Yes.
Even though he won 2 games against ranked teams last year at the end of the year, this is obviously the biggest one where Creighton's ranked. How does Mac turn this around?
Coach Mac turns it around simply by, obviously you watch film, but I mean, I don't really think it comes down to shots. I just think it comes down to the will to win. I mean, having a will and a passion to achieve your goal beyond controlling versus not controlling, like what happens with the basketball guys or the shots falling, that is what you can key on. So Mac is going to go back to effort, but he will say one thing, and I am going to encourage all the Creighton fans to do not get discouraged. We were playing our game. We weren't hitting shots, but I think we got to make a little more adjustments. We got to get Kalkbrenner more confidence, go to him more, get him the ball more when we're not hitting our shots for sure. Play inside out off of him, and I think we'd be fine.
For the people who were at the game, I think one of the big keys was every time Creighton had a 3 that was open,
right,
that I think would have gone in, the place would have went nuts.
Oh, my God.
And every time it didn't go in, then it kind of like got quieter.
Yeah, right.
I mean, even listening on the TV, you never got that explosion of excitement. They'd have hit one of those 3s, and then it could have changed the momentum.
Right. And also optimistically, it's good to lose now. Especially in the fashion that we lost.
It's never good to lose, Josh.
I mean,
tell you, bro, it's never ever good to lose.
Ask Gonzaga when they played Baylor in the championship game.
Okay.
Like sometimes losing early would teach you how to win.
Right.
True champions are born in the midst of adversity.
Sure. Yeah.
Talking to a person with 3 open heart surgeries and all those type of great things. So if I am putting my identity and stamp on the Coach Mac that I played for, who I know hasn't changed, he's going to build off of this loss.
Yeah, well, failure is the greatest teacher. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, amen.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's never good to lose.
No, you're right though, bro.
You're never good to lose, man.
You're right about that.
Because all you're thinking about for the next 2, 3, 4 days, and we're not gonna see this team again until Vegas.
I know, man.
We're gonna see them in Vegas. Good competition in Vegas.
Exactly.
They've got to get this fixed mentally. They got to get it fixed, obviously, on the court.
For sure.
There's a lot of work ahead of them.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. If you were in that locker room, would you key on certain things such as like not necessarily go away from your identity of 3-point shooting? Would you try to build another strength, like driving the ball more, or would you just stick to your guns? What would you do?
I'd be throwing trash cans. I'm not. Mac is to me, I mean, I don't get to see him in the locker room.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think him as being pretty controlled.
Yeah.
After those 2 games, I'd be throwing trash cans, bro.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
we got somebody's got to get this fixed. We're the only ones in this room,
100%,
and we're gonna get it fixed.
100%.
That's what I feel. That's what I want, and that's how. See, some players, this. Some players are really good when you. Hey man, it'll be okay.
I know.
Yell at me.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I was in the military. Yell at me.
Yeah,
get in my face. That's what I want, right?
Yeah,
and so that's what I think. I like to see. I'd like to see some yelling at somebody.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, trash cans were thrown, man.
I
know Coach Mac.
Yeah.
But then it was cleaned up, and he stick with his guys. He would rather lose with the guys on that roster versus go find anybody else.
Yeah.
And so to me, honestly, it just comes from within. It's not about going away from anything that we felt at tonight. It's about staying consistent, staying true to who you are in identity, and kind of building other strengths. And it's the last thing I'll say about it. Our bench, we got to step up.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like
Verabello had a good game.
Oh, for sure.
He led him in scoring.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, the bench guys, they kind of know what their roles are in identity, but I just know that down the stretch in the future, there's a lot of times we're going to have to lean to our bench guys like a starter.
Right.
We need that more from our bench.
We'll continue the conversation. We'll bring up Arthur Kaluma if we can and get him up here. I just want to tell you that Let It Fly Show, brand new podcast. We're doing it live today here at Hale Varsity Club.
Yep.
Since 1917, Omaha Steaks has been a proud food service provider of many iconic and legendary restaurants, especially in the Omaha area. We appreciate them being a part of this as well.
Yep.
We really appreciate them. And let me tell you, there'll be some really good menu items at the Let It Fly bar when it opens up. When that facility opens, that sports bar opens up, the food's going to be amazing.
Right.
And a lot of it's going to be a product of Omaha Steaks. So we appreciate them being a part of this as well. A lot of other stuff going on, not just Creighton, obviously, not all that other stuff. But today, we got the college football playoff rankings coming out, man. Right? And people always get so upset, and they get so upset where people are ranked and everything. Do you feel good about it? Do you feel good
you know what? I honestly do feel good. So shout out Coach Ice. My father-in-law, he's a huge Michigan fan.
Oh,
he's from the east side of Detroit, man.
And
all we hear is Michigan this, Michigan
Big
that.
Blue, huh?
Yeah, and for Michigan to be back, for Georgia to play as well as they are, TCU I'm impressed with.
Yeah.
And Ohio State. I think I mean, you can kind of pinpoint who you feel like may be in the national championship, but the way that TCU is playing, despite of Ohio State losing to Michigan, outside of those, I'll give respect to Georgia, but everybody else, I feel like it's you don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the tier. I think Georgia is
Yeah.
here. It's a drop off to Michigan. Then it's a drop off to
Yeah.
TCU, and then maybe even
That's
a drop
why I
off to
said
Ohio
we
State.
kind of know. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah.
College football is back.
It was a credible weekend. It
Yeah.
really was. I mean, you had upsets. Yeah, Utah early on, USC on Friday night.
Right.
USC had every opportunity.
Oh,
Caleb
my
Williams had a
gosh.
chance to win the Heisman, and they had a chance to get into the college
know,
football playoff,
I
and
know.
then all of a sudden it's all gone.
Boom.
Because a guy like Cameron, you were talking about failure is the greatest. I said that, and you were talking about why it's, when you fail, you have a chance to bounce back.
For sure.
Cam Rising went to Texas.
Yep.
It did not work out.
Nope.
It just didn't. He's like, I got to go someplace else.
Yeah.
He goes to Utah 4 years later.
Right.
I mean, look what he did against USC.
Exactly.
It shows you, man.
Right.
Stick with it.
Exactly. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, I get nervous for those teams that are undefeated, man, because when you don't know how to lose, it's almost one of those things where it's like, like you sometimes you got to make adjustments on the fly, but it's easier to make those when you've been through something.
Yeah. It's what does Mike Tyson always say? Everybody's got plans.
Until they get punched in the mouth.
Yep. And that's a big part of it, surely.
Yeah.
Come on around. Yeah. So like I look at it in this situation. So I know a lot of people were saying, well, maybe Ohio State should be in the 3 spot. Maybe TCU should drop down to 4.
Yep.
You cannot have the rematch of Ohio State and Michigan.
Nah, you can't.
After the way it went, you couldn't do it.
Nah.
So this is the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Joining us now on the set, Arthur Kaluma, Creighton Bluejay
My guy.
forward.
Put those on.
Yeah,
bro.
you can put those headphones on. Joining us here after the game. Sprinted over here, man. You guys didn't break any laws, did you? Coming over here?
No. But hey, I told you, man, when Mac throwing trash cans, everybody
It's time
talking
to just
about
get
it.
out. It's a rough loss. Just kind of walk us through the game and the way it felt.
Man, we just came out there. We didn't have the energy that we needed to. I mean, they had a great grand plan coming in. We just couldn't get it done today. But, it's something that we could, look forward to working on when we get back to practice, something that's going to help, fuel us to be better. And that's all we can hope for.
For sure. Hey, for me, man, definitely as a former athlete, there's a lot of former athletes out there.
You're still an athlete, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're still an athlete.
Man. Let me tell you what. The reason why I say former is because the greatest thing I'm good at now is running my mouth.
There you go.
If that was sport, that I'll be a champ.
That's a muscle. It's still a muscle. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but honestly, man, just for the people out there, kind of talk to them about as a player, after a loss, any loss, but specifically a loss like this, where do you go from here as an individual? How do you digest this?
I mean, after a big loss like this, the best thing is to look at it for what it is.
Yep.
I mean, don't make excuses for yourself or for anybody on your team. We have to get better, and that's got to be the mindset going into this, coming in practices.
Yep.
We have to get better. There's things that we have to work on and things that we have to keep succeeding at, and we can't deviate from that.
Yeah, that's good. The reason why I asked that is because fans are going to be the fans, and everybody got their perspective of how they see things. But sometimes I think it's always great to hear the mindset of the player, to know that you're trying to work it out yourself too. So I can appreciate that, definitely.
Arthur Kaluma joining us here on the Let It Fly show at Hill Varsity Club. Do you think you guys had recovered completely from the loss to Texas before you played this game? Because sometimes they think when you get a big loss, it can beat you twice. How much do you think, was there any leftover at all, hangover from Texas?
No, not at all. I mean, we got to take each game at a time, you know what I'm saying? You can't be holed up on one play or the play that happened before. You always got to keep looking forward to the next play. And we just couldn't pull it together tonight. I mean, I wouldn't attribute it to Texas, although they had a great game plan coming in as well. Just keep going on to the next one.
How do you fix the shooting? We were talking about earlier. I mean, you got practice to keep shooting, but I mean, that's really been a struggle the last 2 games.
I mean, we got a team full of great shooters. I mean, I'm not really too worried about the shooting. It really did affect us in these couple games. But, I mean, the thing that separates good shooters and great shooters is their ability to keep shooting even when it's
shooters
not going
need
in.
shots, man.
Shooters
I told
keep
you.
shooting till you miss.
Yeah, exactly. That's an honest answer, man. We appreciate that. Was the rivalry did that get to you guys at all? Or do you think we were, I say we because as a former player, but do you think you guys were just off of your game?
We were just off our game. I wouldn't say that the rivalry had anything to do with it.
For sure.
I mean, was an off night for us, and that's 2 off nights in a row. So
yeah.
now we just got to look forward to fixing it.
What did Coach Mack say after the game to you guys?
I mean, told us not to lose our heads. I mean, there's always going to be stuff between, you know, Creighton and Nebraska because we've been beating them for such a long time. But, man, just on to the next one for real. I mean, that's all we can do. We can't really dwell on it.
I think one big shot, like one of the threes that were missed, because that crowd was ready to go. You could tell. You could just feel it. They were ready to explode, and you couldn't hit that one big three. I think that's what's missing. If you'd hit that one big three, maybe that could have changed all the momentum in the game.
I mean, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs in the game like this. But, man, it was. We got to look at it for what it was. We just didn't hit any shots.
Yeah. Tell us what you – I mean, obviously, the fan base is amazing. It is every time you guys are at home. You go on the road to Maui, and there's all the blue there. Just tell us your feelings about the fan base overall since you've been here.
I mean, yeah, the fan base has always been great to us. I mean, we always get the CHI packed almost every single time we play. I mean, man, we got great fans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always there to support us. I mean, we couldn't pull it out for them today. But look forward to the next game.
What's the next couple of days, practice-wise and stuff for you guys? You got a little break?
We got an off day tomorrow, but we're going to get right back to it on Tuesday and really start to prepare for Vegas.
Yeah. Arthur, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for swinging by.
Man.
Arthur Kaluma.
Appreciate you, bro.
They struggle a little bit tonight,
make some noise.
Like you said, you keep shooting. Eventually, you're going to make them. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming through. It's funny, when he was talking, you could tell you hear that message so much from Mac, and it sticks with you.
Yep.
I could hear Mac saying that in the press conference.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's
so
true.
it sticks with you. Your coach tells you the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it's just a matter of you knowing who you are. I mean, these guys went from preseason workouts to preseason practice to the games, and by now, I think the team got his identity. We just got to work through it. Like I said, I went 3 for 16.
Yeah,
and let me tell you how that season finished.
Tell me.
I was 10th in the league in threes.
So
shooters need shots, man.
Yeah.
I think I want to say Doug Oragi was first. Then the other one was second. Manigat was like 5th, and I was 10th. So
man, that team could shoot,
man.
That team was incredible shooters. We mentioned earlier, eventually this show will be coming from the Let It Fly Sports Bar.
Yep.
And that's going to be down in the Capitol District. Slated to open Memorial Day. Let me tell you about it. 350 seats, 10,000 square feet, right near CHI Health Center, of course. It's going to have a little glass enclosed podcast studio. So you'll be able to, just like this, but glass. Just think of us kind of like we're over at the Henry Dorley Zoo, and we're just a couple animals inside. You just watching us, and it'll be like that, and it'll be set up, and it'll be great. And I think it'll be awesome. Yeah. Tell me what you expect from the show.
Honestly, man, I just expect for the show. I expect people to tune in. You know,
okay, all right.
Because
we got to give them a reason. What's the reason?
Yeah, the reason is this, man. I think perspective. You know, just hearing you a lot in the past, and just for myself. You know, tons of sports fans around the city just ask me all types of questions about sports. I kind of mentioned this about a week ago. I think what they can expect is just authenticity. I think they can expect for us not to shy away from any topic and always keep it real.
Sounds good. We're going to talk a little about Matt Rhule and what he's been doing the last couple of days going around the state, getting to that. Also, how rumors can really get out of control.
Yeah.
But, you know, I, as a veteran myself, I love to see veterans getting honored.
Right.
And that is something you see at a lot of the home games. John Berry Jr. is going to join us from Berry Law, going to come up, and we're going to talk more about what they do with the Mission Service Award. Had one given out today. Teresa Domeyer was given out. She is from the National Guard, and she's one of the highest ranking females in the National Guard and in the military, in the Army overall. And he's going to join us now to talk more about what they do and why this is important to you. John, how you doing?
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Why'd you guys decide to start doing this?
Well, I'm a veteran. My father, who started our firm, is a Vietnam veteran. I was in Iraq and Bosnia. And we wanted to let heroism take over. You know, athletes are heroes, right? Soldiers are heroes, and people can be heroes in their community. But what happens, you know, after the athlete's season's over, after the career's over, for the veteran that retires, we want to give them that opportunity to come back and be recognized as well. And so for me, it's one of those things where I get to be a hero to my heroes, get them out in front of the crowd,
That's awesome.
let them see them, you know, and really give them that opportunity to be recognized, but also for the younger members, you know, in our society to say, wow, there's a hero. There's someone you should look up to. So see him on the court, see him in uniform, but those role models, I think that we have to take the time to recognize them, whether it's athletes, veterans, but people that go up and beyond. There's something about our society that says, you know what, don't give it to me. I'm going to come take it.
Right.
And, you know, being a soldier, That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Being an athlete.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
for
it's all
sure.
about.
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
going to give you the win. You got to
Right.
go earn it. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
same thing in the military.
Yeah, you know, we're obviously a volunteer service, and the numbers continue to drop. Young people aren't signing up like they were before. What can we do? I know one way is to show them these heroes on the court, but what can we do to get that enrollment up?
Yeah, I mean, it's been bad, right? I mean, look at the fiasco in Afghanistan, right? And for a lot of my, brothers and sisters, that was devastating because they helped build that community up, and to see us just pull out. And what does that say to our team, right? Hey, yeah, you did something, but and I think that's been problematic. So what we need to do to get them back, I think, is to celebrate those heroes. Say, come on back. We have your back. We have your six. And by the way, when you're done serving, we want you to continue to serve your communities. It's all voluntary, right?
For sure.
You got to raise that hand, take that oath,
Step
and
forward.
when the service is over, I mean, they still want to be on a team, just like us. I played football in college.
Right.
You still want the
you got
team,
that drive.
Yeah.
and you want the purpose and the mission. And we need to give that to them. And we need to show the young people in our country, hey, do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And you can serve your community, whether you're playing sports or in the military, and afterwards. And I think, but the first step, right, is being in that competitive environment. Like I said, whether you're serving the military, whether you're playing sports, and really getting competitive, and then give back to the community. And obviously, coaches, great coaches, they make sure that you give back, and it's important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I always say that. How should I put it? Competency creates culture. Just the understanding of you knowing what's going on, and the way that you guys are trying to create that visibility. Just it's not always about knowing about it, but when you're actually there, and you got the presidents, that creates that competency, which creates the culture. So I support what you're doing, and I think that the long haul, just you with the passion, I can hear the passion, I can see the passion. I just really feel like it's something that's going to be expounded on in our community. I think we're going to have more volunteers step up, which ultimately will have more people like you. You're a great role model, great guy, 100%.
Thanks. And I always say, Peter Drucker always said, culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yeah,
Man,
yes, it does.
there you go. Yeah,
Yes, it
right.
does.
Yeah, right.
John Berry joining us from Berry Law.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
No, hold on, leave it a second. So give me a couple stories about some of the people that you brought down and brought down to the court and got them, saluted by the fans. Give me a couple of stories of those people.
Well, I mean, so we have a national veterans law practice that my father started. So we represent about 10,000 veterans nationwide. So we've got to hear everything from the World War II veterans to the Korean War veterans to the Vietnam veterans. And so there's been quite a few, but this latest, Teresa Domeyer, I served with her in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she's the highest ranking female command chief warrant officer, first in the state and then nationally in the National Guard Bureau. So she is one of those, when you're a leader and you have a subordinate who just kills it, right?
Yeah.
And just takes, I mean, that's the greatest feeling in the world. It's like if you're a father and your son scores a goal or does something great. It's just, so we've had so many of those. So some of them have been individuals that we knew or stories that we heard. And someone says, you've got to honor this person.
Right.
And usually there's a personal connection. I served with him in Afghanistan, or I served with her in Iraq. And so we hear from the people who make the nominations, we hear those stories, and it blows our mind. We're like, well, why is this story not out there in the public? Why are we not sharing the good news?
Right.
We always hear the bad news when things go bad.
Yeah.
And believe me, as a lawyer, we deal with a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it is great to share the good news. I think when service members go above and beyond and do something phenomenal, we absolutely need to recognize them, especially, once again, back, when you're in service and you get the medal or the ribbon, it's great.
Right.
But being recognized, I think, in front of your community is something entirely different.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. For me, growing up in North Omaha, being able to go play college basketball at Creighton and do things beyond, such as this show here today, I just like to be the example of, if I can do it, you can do it. So it just means that much more from somebody coming from where you're from. So, I mean, I hear it and see the passion, man. And what's funny is I was talking to Al Lopez about having a segment on our show about giving flowers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a concept of us just shining light, showing appreciation to those who are actually doing something and are not recognized. And so, you got a lot of flowers to give out, man. With the 10,000 veterans and things like that going on. That's amazing.
Well, we want to teach our kids, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Honor people, respect people,
for
give them their due. And I think that spreads the good news.
No, it does.
There's a lot of negativity, but like I said, there's a lot of veterans, there's a lot of athletes, a lot of heroes out there.
Right.
And heroism is infectious.
Yep.
And so we want to spread it and we want to get those good stories out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
heroes don't wear capes; they wear combat boots.
Yep.
Before I let you go, like your father, Vietnam vets didn't get the recognition. Finally, in Nebraska, we're building the Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Papillion right now. It'll be done next year. We'll be able to honor all of those men and women that served that really didn't get the treatment they should have gotten, the welcome home that they should have gotten. So I'm really excited about that.
And me too. You know, when I came home to parades after Bosnia, after Iraq,
Oh, wow.
you know, my father and his, his peers were spat on,
Yeah.
you know, and told they were baby killers in the airports, right? I mean, when they came home.
They couldn't even have their uniforms on when they came home.
Tough.
Right. And the way the American people treat us now when we come home is so much different. So it's a great culture change, but we do need to step back and say thank you to our Vietnam veterans. We can never say it enough.
Yeah, John, we really appreciate it.
My honor. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
Very
thank
much,
you,
John
man.
Barry from
Sincerely.
Barry Law.
Yeah.
Again, it's the Mission Service Award given out during Creighton home games. It is really cool. And like I said about the Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial, you're talking hundreds of thousands of folks, and they're passing away now.
Right.
And we'd love to get them recognized,
Definitely.
obviously, while they're still get their flowers while they can.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's happening. So I'm pretty excited about that. Switching gears a little bit.
Yep.
Matt Rhule has been all over the state
Matt Rhule.
since he became the head football coach. We saw him in North Omaha. We saw him on the
Right.
West Side. We saw him at Scotts Bluff,
Yeah.
getting on a plane out there, then getting in the car, going over to Pierce
Right.
to visit Ben Bramer, who is a heck of a wide receiver, tight end over at Pierce. Tell me this, because you've seen this before.
Yep.
The last couple of coaches that have been here haven't been great at getting guys from the Metro.
Right.
What do you need? What kind of coach do you need to go in the Metro to convince those kids who are leaving and going to other places like Oklahoma to come here?
First, you need a coach who understands what the talent is inside of the Metro.
Heck yeah.
You know, I was blessed to be able to play, stay home, play at Creighton. But from a football perspective, honestly, what I have not seen in the past, and one of my childhood best friends is Niles Paul.
Yeah.
And he and I always talk about one thing that he hasn't seen outside of himself is Nebraska football coaches just showing interest on what's going on in the Metro in general.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's about. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But our in-state talent is just as good as the players who come from out of state.
Sure.
And for me, I thought it was a plus. Matt Rhule did something different that nobody else has done. Just going to the different places, pulling up in North Omaha. That was big,
Yep.
But the Nebraska fans also want to win, man. So that's cool to pull up. How would the fans not know you're just doing that because that's what you're supposed to do, or are you really recruiting talent? Only time would tell.
Listen, Lincoln High's principal tweeted out, "I'm glad they found our address." The last two coaches had sent no one to that school.
Man.
No one to the school.
Well, yeah.
So you got Scott, which is a good B-size school.
Right.
Coached by a former Husker.
Right.
And they've never sent a coach over there to look at any of their talent.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really knock the alumni because I know a lot of guys who play for Nebraska and they're all tight-knit, you know?
Yep.
But honestly, I just feel like the time is now. There's a lot of talent. There's no way that you have talent like you got at Bellevue West. That Gretna West Side State Championship game, I was glued.
That was a great game.
I was glued to that game. I mean, for the simple fact that a kicker has to kick 5 field goals to get an offer, says something about what we're doing wrong.
He had an offer, and it was a walk-on offer. It wasn't what – this is a kid who kicked a 57-yard field goal during the season.
But how
57
how
yards.
don't you see talent?
I don't know. Well, the starting quarterback for Gretna is not going to Nebraska.
Which
and
is
this
crazy.
is a guy Zane Flores, since he was a sophomore.
Wait, hold on. He's an all-time leading passer?
I watched him since he was a sophomore, and he was good as a sophomore. He got better as a junior, and no one decided to offer him. And now he's going to Oklahoma State.
Which is tough.
Which is, it's a great passing program. He's going to be successful there.
Good for him.
Yeah, I feel great for him, but he should be at Nebraska.
But there's no place like home, and that's exactly the point.
Yep.
I mean, there's so much talent. I give you another guy, Xavier Watts.
Xavier Watts went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, went to Notre Dame. That's another guy. I mean, the list goes on. But kudos to Matt Rhule.
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe, how about this? We might have to go above him and say Trev Albers. Maybe he's setting the president of the new culture. Maybe one of the things he said was we have to recruit our in-state talent. Maybe he knows what's going on. Actually, just the little birdies, in the air. Maybe he talked to him and said, "Hey, one of the first agenda items we need from you is to pivot the culture.
Yeah.
You need to go look in our own city.
I'll tell you, I go to high school games. I usually try to go to at least one a weekend. I go a lot of West Side ones. It's kind of close to where I live.
Right.
But you'd go to these games and you'd see no Husker coaches there.
No, not at all.
When Mickey took over as the interim coach,
right.
every game I went to, there was somebody from Husker. Whether it was the special teams coach or it was an assistant offensive line coach or Mickey Joseph was there himself or Barrett Rude.
Right.
They were at all those games.
Right.
And that has to tell the coaches that you're interested in them. It tells the players you're interested in them. I just understand why it didn't happen before that.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
From a recruiting standpoint, I know there's a certain type of caliber of culture that as a university and program that you don't want to go outside of.
Sure.
But let's keep it real. Back in the day when Coach Osborne was playing, a lot of guys on his rosters had personal and private issues that they were going through.
Sure, yeah.
But I think what made him great and what made our program great was him actually not really caring about the talent more than he cared about the kid.
He did. I mean, that's a big part of what he did. One of the greatest things that Tom Osborne ever did was as an evaluator.
Yeah.
He could go watch a kid play. Here's a great example. So Neil Smith, one of the greatest pass rushers in Nebraska history, great NFL player as well. Neil Smith was in New Orleans at 35 High School playing basketball. Coach Osborne saw him play basketball and said, we should offer this kid.
Oh, my gosh.
And Jack Pierce is like, I don't offer basketball. You're like, no. As a football player,
right? This
guy can become a great and that's what he had an eye.
Yeah.
And a lot of his assistants had eyes. And that's the one thing that Matt Rhule has proven. You look at wherever he was. When he was at Temple, they went like 15 years with only like 5 guys drafted.
Right.
While he was there, they had 11 guys drafted.
Exactly.
He went on to Baylor. Same thing. Stretch with nobody get drafted.
Right.
This past draft in 2022, 6 guys got drafted. He has an eye for talent.
Right.
Coaches that coach him up, and that's the big difference here.
Yeah,
that's what need to happen.
And I don't really think he's I think he's more of a collegiate coach than he is a pro coach.
Look, man, I got a list of guys who decided that they wanted to try the NFL and it failed.
Yeah.
And most of them didn't last the whole season.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean you're a good coach. Maybe his niche is just college football.
Yeah. Well, man, you have all these sayings and things you do when you're in college and a way of rah-rah mentality.
Right.
A lot of pros don't want to hear that.
No.
They don't want to hear that.
Exactly.
From you. They do their own thing.
Exactly.
So it makes it different.
Right.
I do want. I brought Mickey Joseph up earlier.
Yep.
And obviously we all know what's happened and what's happened with Mickey, accused of both strangulation and domestic violence against a female party at his house.
Right.
But I want to talk about the rumors and what happens on social media and what happened across the city over the course of those probably 12 or 18 hours. And I'm sure a lot of people read them and saw them. And I'm telling you right now, when you're on Twitter, you've got to take half of it with a grain of salt and the other half ignore completely.
100%.
Because the majority of the stuff on there, when you see something that sounds so crazy, like a former player and just don't believe that stuff.
Yeah.
Wait for the news to come out with the facts.
I agree.
Wait.
I agree.
I had 2 days ago, 2 days after this happened, people going, hey, did this really happen? Did this really? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Stay off the rumor mill.
Right.
Stay out of that kind of stuff. It's not real.
Yeah.
This is a man who made a huge mistake. Well, allegedly made a huge mistake.
Right.
It's going to have to go to court in January for it and all that other stuff. But to make it even worse, by bringing up Steve Taylor into the rumors and bringing all these people and all that stuff. That's horrible.
I know.
And it's the toughest thing. Like I worked in news for 17 years. I was a reporter, anchor in news for 17 years. And the biggest change I always tell people is the immediacy of news.
Right.
Because you can put something on Twitter right now and automatically it's out to everybody.
But people would rather be first than be right.
Well, there is a competition that you're going to have against stations in your market, and you want to beat them.
Right.
But yes, you want to beat them in the right way. You want to beat them with facts. You want to beat them with a deeper part of the story. You want to find something that they didn't cover, you cover.
Yeah.
I get all that. But that was one of the more embarrassing things that's happened.
No, for sure.
For a long time.
Right.
And not just what happened with your interim coach, but also what happened just what people were saying afterwards. It was tough. It was tough to watch.
Yeah,
it really was.
And for me,
and also I spent the next 4 hours calling around, checking with Andrew Zaki in Lincoln, KTV Bureau reporter, calling Brian West Hospital to see if Steve Taylor was. I mean, I spent 4 hours. I don't even do this anymore.
No,
and I spent 4 hours of that
for
thing.
sure. Right.
So I stop that.
Yeah, I personally feel like obviously it's an unfortunate situation. By no means do I personally condone any type of domestic violence at all.
Right.
But I just want to kind of speak to the topic of controversy selling.
Oh yeah.
I've read a tweet. Just we all go through things and see what's trending and all.
Sure.
I've seen an individual go all the way back and cheer for Mickey Joseph and everything that he was intending on doing as interim coach.
Yeah.
But also in the same Twitter fingers say, "Oh, get him out of there," or like just the most negative thing.
Right.
And for me, I just kind of feel like some people get caught up more with winning.
Sure.
Some people get caught up more with not liking him as an individual. And then others just get caught up on the he say, she say.
Right.
And to me, I think the biggest frustration about the situation is, I mean, sometimes have you ever met a person you feel like you know them just by watching them on TV?
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean,
when you work in the news, everybody.
this
everybody knows
dude, look,
Right.
Everybody
thinks they know you.
He had it, his heart should be the culture of Nebraska.
Right.
And for me, I just honestly feel like, I just think it's tough. Like, I'm not even trying to tread lightly. I just get lost for words because
I understand it's different. It's a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
I covered courts for about a decade, and there's not judges, attorneys, police officers will all tell you the hardest case to deal with is domestic violence.
Yeah,
by
exactly.
far,
Yeah,
because it's usually just two people there, and you have to. It's he, she said, that kind of thing. It's
Right.
really difficult. But I will say this: overall, whatever happens will happen in the courts. Whatever happens will happen to just
let it play out.
Job,
yeah,
let
exactly.
It play out,
And the thing is, it's almost like the speculations comes from people wanting him to fail or people just wanting to start something. It's kind of tough. And I think the greatest detriment to his character is the defamation, and how that's just out in general is almost like, rather it comes out and he's on the right side of justice, or especially if he is on the right side, it's like people will see him in that light regardless.
There's nothing. I always say this to people. This is the new era. The top paragraph of your Wikipedia is your life. You'll build for your entire life, your entire Wikipedia. But the thing that you did that they know the most for is the top. OJ ran for 2,003 yards. OJ was an actor. OJ allegedly killed two people. Right. That's going to always be the top. And that's
no, exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
And that's what I lament and have compassion for with Coach Joseph. So I hope everything worked out in favor. I hope justice does get served for the right side. I'm not without any speculation of anything happening.
A lifetime to build a reputation. It takes 2 minutes to destroy a reputation.
Ah, man.
Before we end this whole thing, one thing that's happening right now that is really amazing is what's happening with Creighton soccer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I have covered championships across every level of sports. I've never covered a team that goes to the College Cup. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't know it was called the College Cup until a couple days ago. I didn't know they played in Cary, North Carolina until a couple days ago. But Creighton's gonna be playing Syracuse. As advanced. What a job by Johnny Torres! Incredible job they've done there.
Sure.
And you have a situation now where they have a chance to play for a national championship. They'll be in the Final Four there.
My God.
Play Syracuse. The other side of it is who's on the other side? It's Pittsburgh and Indiana. Just give them all the credit in the world for the job they've done. It's incredible.
No, definitely. Yeah, I often when I'm down at the games talk to the new athletic director Marcus Blossom. And I ask because I'm going to Vegas, or we're going to Vegas. Sorry.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we'll be in Vegas, to see the basketball team.
Right.
And I say, hey, are you coming down to Vegas? He said, man, our programs are on fire.
They are.
I might have to make it to the soccer. I might not see you, man. So congratulations to the soccer team.
Yeah, that's Friday on the 9th when they play against Syracuse. So that's something to follow. You mentioned, because volleyball got knocked out in the tournament, but they were playing very well.
They went far.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth is one of my favorite coaches in the whole state. Because of what she preaches. You know, she preaches the student athlete. Getting rest, doing your work, doing everything you're supposed to do right.
She's a firecracker.
She is. Oh my God, she is. She's tons of energy. You know what? She's a former tennis player. I love former tennis players as a tennis player myself. But she does a great job with those young women developing, and they go on to very successful lives. And that's the only goal you can have.
Exactly.
Winning is great, but if you can make them into great adults.
But can you imagine maybe the secret to success and the formula to win the championships and building people versus building athletes, and you'll end up having a top athlete by building a great person?
That's right.
Man.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, Creighton, we on to something.
If you can do that. And Creighton has been certainly doing that. And good luck to the soccer team coming up this past weekend. Now, we have several things to give away.
Yeah.
As part of this podcast and show. We have, is it 4 tickets to go see Butler? Well, yeah, 2 tickets? That's all you got, man?
Oh,
I'm just playing. So we got 2 tickets to give away. Are we going to draw for those? Do we know how we're going to do those? We have tickets to give away. Plus, we have a $100 gift card to Hell Varsity Club as well to give away. Do we know how we're doing this, Philip? Don't you look at me like you know something?
I say we have
pull
a rock,
hat out.
No, we should have a rock paper scissors tournament.
Rochambeau.
Yeah, winner take all.
Well, we're also, before everybody leaves, make sure you grab a Let It Fly T-shirt as well. And this is the Let It Fly Lager.
I see people around at the games. It's a hot commodity right now.
It is, really, it is.
Yeah, go ahead and get you one.
Now, I can't talk about it. I haven't had a drink in 20 years, but from what I understand, it's delicious.
It is.
Yeah.
And you talking to me like I had the drink. No,
I don't know. Maybe you've had it. I don't
know.
know. Somebody's had it.
No,
right. Like it at the game. So Let It Fly Lager up here as well. And we want to definitely give you a T-shirt.
Right.
And we also want, of course, like I say, give away the stuff we're going to do.
Yeah,
we'll probably do is put everybody's name in a hat.
Yeah, right.
We'll pull it out and
we got to give it away, though. Yeah. That's the point.
Our next show will be after or before Creighton plays BYU in Vegas.
Right.
We'll do a preview there. We'll have a player on as well talking about that. And I know that for the third show, we'll have Coach. Third show we'll have on Mike Miller.
Yes.
Who is responsible.
For all this.
The Let It Fly.
Yeah.
Bar
Also,
as well.
You got to mention. I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mike Miller's an NBA champion.
I know. Two-time champion.
NBA
I saw him I was in Sioux Falls yesterday and saw him at the Let It Fly bar there in Sioux Falls.
That's what's up.
It's incredible. He's just walking around and everybody wants to take a picture.
Yeah.
it's cool to be famous.
Yeah.
But that would get a little tired. And he's got to kind of bend down because he's so tall.
But he's all for it though. Even when we did
everybody.
He's watching the game, turn, take a picture. Watch the game, turn, take a picture.
With everybody there. He went through the whole restaurant and took a picture. And of course, we'll see him out here.
That'll be awesome.
Built in Omaha in the Capital District as well. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
It's a fun year.
But as I said, the next show will be in Vegas.
Yep.
And we'll be doing it from there. We'll do 2 shows from Vegas.
Yep.
Then we'll come back. I'll have my knee replaced.
Oh, man.
And then we'll do another show the following week after that. I believe on the 21st will be the one we'll do after that. But again, we want to thank Omaha Steaks for being a part of this.
Yeah.
Remind you about the Let It Fly Lager that we have.
Yeah.
And Let It Fly Sports Bar, which is going to be opening around Memorial Day, which is going to be awesome.
I got to say it's about Omaha Steaks.
Yeah.
Every party, every holiday, everything I do on my grill. Omaha Steaks. Oh my God!
Here's the thing. I can guarantee you. Like Denzel Washington would say. I guarantee if you send someone a box of Omaha Steaks, they will be happy.
Guaranteed.
Some things don't fit.
Right.
Some things maybe the wrong color.
Right.
A box of Omaha Steaks is never ever the wrong color.
Yeah. Right.
It's perfect for everybody. So do that. It's the holidays, so it's a good time to do that as well.
Right,
and also, if you are a restaurant and interested in carrying Omaha Steaks food service products, you can reach out to them as well, and they'll be very happy to hear from you. So we appreciate everybody coming out.
One in the books. Let's make some noise.
We appreciate Al Lopez, who is the big man in charge.
Yep, appreciate
Big
you,
Al as well. Sasha Durkin for being part of the producing product, getting all this fixed as well. Pat Stafford, who is truly one of the best looking ball men I've ever known. All that as well. We appreciate it.
And then my favorite, you guys, make some noise for yourself.
Thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. This, of course, will go up every time we do a podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. You check it out as well. We want to thank everybody for coming out. It's the Let It Fly show again. Catch us again next week. We'll be in Vegas. We're doing a show on Saturday.
Yes. See you soon.
For Josh Jones, I'm Michael Severe. Let It Fly show.